There we go. I think we're up, are we? At least my roaring of the fans tells me something's happening here. Good morning, good morning. Got the camera the other way for a change this morning. Look at this. We've got some sunshine. Do you see that? Right on the pig's face. Look at that. The building in the distance, the guy where there's a guy sitting in the window. There's a sign below it. It says Tonchan. It's a pork specialty restaurant, and there's a reflection of the sunshine shining right on the pig's logo. Good morning, the birthdays. Yeah, that's the day today. I know we got to say that's it. This is Twitch, right? No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Thank you. Everybody's here, right? Snowy Evergreens, Annabelle, hi. Thank you, guys. So, no more Mr. Nice Guy. The big 70. I can't believe this myself. I can't believe this. You hit these numbers. 20 was a number. 30, 40. No idea. Okay, we've shown this. This arrived the other day from somebody in Spain. We'll look at this before we do our regular show and tell. My guess is it's a printmaker, somebody who's been watching the stream, maybe. I don't know the name. Somebody who's been watching and has made a print and sent it in, maybe. We'll see. No. No more nice guy now, it's wise guy. It's always been a wise guy. Okay, whatever. Chibis, Patreon Chibis returned because of bad addresses. If you're a Patreon supporter, please keep your address up to date. We'll have to go through now and figure these out and send emails back and forth, and I shouldn't complain. More return chibis. Paper is out. There's 3 people up there today. It's Dei-chan, she's working on the December print. Ayumi-san, she's working on the cat and the ball of twine. And Sugu-san is doing last year's series 12th print, the one with the bamboo grove. They are all busily beavering away. How's Cameron doing? I haven't heard one word from him. Don't really expect to. He's sort of officially on vacation. I know he didn't take holidays for quite a long time here. It was strange. He's been working at home, so how do you take holidays when you're working at home and stuff? So he didn't really do that. And here in Japan, when you're a salaryman, you are supposed to have, there's legal holidays. And at his level, I think there was 11 days a year, which he didn't really take for a couple of years. So he has just simply booked off for November, and I'm doing all his stuff. So I haven't heard one word from him. Actually, that's not true. I did send an email to his private address about last week because I needed a password. I needed the password for the MailChimp software, and he hadn't let me know. So, okay, we have some sharpening to do. The reason is, yesterday I actually came down here and I did a bit of carving yesterday. Quite a bit, actually. I finished the bottom of this tree. I told you I was going to have to be doing more carving, not just on stream time. So I came down here yesterday and worked on the bottom of this tree. This part is done. We're now going to go up the top of this tree. I cannot wait any longer. We are getting late. The girls are going to want to start printing this real soon. And just at the end, just as I was finishing off, rushing, I broke the knife. So we're going to start with a sharpening. We'll start with a sharpen. Oh, also too, remind me, we're going to talk about the back of this blade. The back of the blade is not in good condition, but give me a second first. Let's do the front. We are okay. We've got the shape back. Doesn't take long with these small knives, you know. It's not like a big plane. I watched Shimano-san sharpening his planes, and it took ages to sharpen his planes. We've got the shape back. The tip was gone. But about the back is hollow ground, and normally what we should see, let's find a bigger chisel here. What we should see is something like this. The hollow should be in the center of the backside, and the backside should be flat. And what this does is it makes sure you have a full row of steel at the front, and when you dress the back of the chisel on the stone, that gives you your perfect edge at the front. If you don't have a hollow ground, if the chisel is supposedly flat, it ends up, as you're doing, rocking a little bit, and it ends up as being a dome shape actually. But if you hollow ground it, or buy a chisel that's hollow ground, then all the pressure, when you do the backside, all the pressure goes on the front edge. That's the ideal situation. Now what's happened with this little knife of mine over the past few weeks is, look at this, the hollow grinding, for some reason, has extended its way all to the front. So we don't have a flat back here, and we're going to get a strange edge. The reason this has happened is two things. One, it's when I've been sharpening, I've put my finger on the back and pushed like this and rubbed and rubbed and rubbed, and I've put pressure on that thing, enough pressure to bend the blade. And yet if you can see it, the blade is now actually bent up off the flat side towards the bevel side. This also comes from when I'm carving. When I put the blade in the wood and push, the pressure is up this way. So it tends to bend the blade little by little by little. We're talking microscopic distances, but bit by bit by bit. And this blade has now bent. I'm going to exaggerate. It's bent up this way. So when I've been sharpening the back, because it's been bent up, it hasn't been hitting the edge. So what I have to do now, and I have to do this once in a while, is I've got to bend this thing now back the other way around. I'm going to do it with my finger here. Here's the point where Dave breaks his blade in front of hundreds of people. Okay, there it is. It's now bent back. Can you see it? It's bent ever so slightly now this way. It's bent towards the flat side. This is the way it should be. Ito-san's knives were all like this. They were very slightly bent towards the flat side. So that when we now take this stone, when we now put the flat side on the stone, it's now no longer flat. It's bent a little bit down, and almost all the pressure now actually, we don't need to use the 400 side. The 1000 will be fine. And we are now cutting the tip part. And if we put this back under the thing, we should see now, bingo, there we go. The hollow ground section has been pushed back. The hollow ground part has been pushed back, and now we have the back side here on the blade perfectly flat. I might have bent that a little bit too much under the camera here, but we're okay now. So the back side of this blade, look how shiny that is. You can see it. So the hollow ground section has been moved back. We now have flat there and flat here. And I hadn't really noticed it, but we had let it go just a bit too far. Okay, let's dress the front surface here. to get the reflections. The back side and the front side. And then a final touch-up on the shiageto, the finishing stone. And then the last couple of strokes, lift it slightly and take off the absolute sharpest edge. There's a little bevel here, there at the back. See that now? I just cut that. The sharpest edge is now gone. If I left it, it would just break in an instant, putting it into cherry wood. The back is flat with a hollow ground. The front bevel, there it is. And on the back, I've taken off the very edge. Try and get that light again. It was there. There it is. There's the third bevel, the bevel on the back side. That's just taken away the sharpest edge. And it's taken, 5 minutes because I'm talking. Normally it's literally a few seconds work. There's no burr. The burr is gone. There's the back bevel. Okay, let's find the spot here. Okay, I've missed most of the chat here, sorry, excuse me. Don't break the blade live, yeah, whatever. How long do these tools last? How long do the sharpening tools last? If you're asking about this blade, this isn't going to last long at all now. We are actually nearly at the end. I don't remember, we replaced it on stream, I think. It was some months ago, a year ago, I don't remember. It used to be much longer, and now it's come gradually. As we sharpen it, I pull it forward, pull it forward, pull it forward, pull it forward. And I've pulled it forward now, there's not much support left, and I'm nearly at the end of it. In fact, you can see the makers, so we're nearly at the end. On the back of it, there's the maker's stamp. There's the maker's stamp, which has finally become visible. So we're only going to be able to use maybe as much as this. So a few weeks from now, we'll be seeing another blade replacement. The blades get used up, they're gone. Well, the stone, the plate, that I don't know. I started using these steel stones, a few years ago, and I'm still using the same ones we started with. And I've got two to compare with now, and I think one of them is slightly getting a bit softer. I just dropped it down the back of the thing here. I don't know, I don't have enough experience. They're certainly no worse than real stones, because real stones, of course, they get dipped and you have to flatten them. They get dipped, you have to flatten them, so real stones wear out. So I would expect these too. So far, I'm still using the same ones I got. Again, for our craft, the sharpening requirements are so small, the blades are so small, the amount of steel we remove is so small. If you had some massive carpenter's chisels or plane blades, you've got to sharpen huge amounts of steel. For us, it's trivial. It just takes a few seconds and the wear and tear on the stuff is minimal. Okay, let's get back to it here. Let's see where we are. We've got to come up some tree, and it was simply tree branches and leaves, and we're going to do the same thing. Tree branch and leaf, bit of broken old-fashioned tree, and a couple of bird shapes. Sort of bird shapes. This bird peeking over the back, I don't know. How do you draw a bird face on in woodblock? Yeah, someone's got it there. The smaller sharpening stones, the idea to look at them was to test them. In fact, we have a few hundred of them sitting here ready for inclusion in our upcoming, put that in quotes, in our upcoming tool set, which is not really any longer upcoming, I don't know. Whoa, this is sharp. Scary sharp. Scary, scary sharp. Oh, I could shave with this if, whatever, if it was a different shape. The wood it's like cutting butter, Once you get the knife this sharp and working at this kind of a small scale, the wood just separates under the knife. There's not even any sense that you're cutting. There's no crunch, there's no slice. Just the wood just disappears. Literally just like cutting butter. There's just nothing there, no resistance whatsoever. I struggled with it for such a long time without having sharp tools, It was just a mystery. I didn't know what to do. And it's no mystery. Just rub it on a piece of stone and it gets sharp, What was also hugely frustrating, of course, is that even once I did start sharpening and get better at sharpening, it just broke so often because my control in the wood was so bad. You put it and start cutting and break it. Right there, for example, cutting that curve. Instead of cutting it once, bending the blade going around, I did it 3 times. Once, twice, 3. How much you can bend like this without breaking. It's a feel thing, That's a Skype call from my daughter, who has clearly forgotten that I stream. Let me just drop her a quick, short, sharp email. Just one sec. I can't talk with my daughter. We did this before. We brought a Skype into the Twitch stream, but I can't do that in the new setup because the microphones here are all tied to the cameras. And if I open a Skype, there's no sound on it. So it doesn't actually work. So I've just messaged her back on Skype, no idea. So, yeah, time change. Maybe that's it. So. She thinks it's before the time change, before the stream, probably. We're about to find out. Yeah, she's thinking that it's before the stream. But also, I'll be chatting with her on the coming up Sunday because there's a double birthday thing that happens. My grandson, Archie, his birthday is just before mine. His was a couple of days ago. I think it's November. I don't remember. November the 8th, November the 9th, November the 10th. No, 7th, 8th. Place your bets. It's somewhere around there. His birthday's around November the 8th or so. So I think they're having a family get-together on Sunday, and they will call me in on Skype. So. This knife is so sharp. I hadn't been careful enough, that back side not being flat, but it makes a huge difference. This thing is wicked sharp. Not sure if there's any town news or something that I was supposed to remember to talk about today. I don't have any memo here about news. The Ninja Boys across the street seem to be still up and running. They were closed yesterday, and there was a bit of a windstorm here in Tokyo yesterday. Nothing dramatic, no tornadoes or anything, but it was windy, gusty, and flags and stuff were falling over all over the place. And rows of bicycles get toasted. You get all the bicycles in front of the station, and sometimes the wind, if there's a bit of a windstorm, it comes through the canyon, between the buildings. And over near the station here, the wind got strong enough, and it totaled an entire row of bicycles. I didn't see it happen, but I saw the aftermath. Just hundreds of bicycles in a row, all flat. And you come out of your office, and there's your bike in the middle of that thing, and oh my God, and that was yesterday. That was happening. And then the Ninja flags, they had left them outside, and they were totaled. They were halfway down the street. I rescued one of them, and then somebody else later on, the other two must have flown away, and somebody else must have rescued them. I guess we have, now that the coffee shop across the street has opened up again, I guess we have an abandoned dog out there. Is it somebody who's gone in for coffee and they've left their dog outside? Is that what we're hearing? Let's have a peek. Is there an abandoned dog outside the coffee shop? I can't see. Maybe it's just out of sight. Don't know. What's the oldest woodblock print I've been able to see or find? Well, I don't know. We're not a major collector. In our own work, the oldest one? I don't know, really. I've got lots of stuff from the mid-1700s. That's not really super rare at all. 1770 or something? I don't know. Somewhere on there is the oldest that I've got. The Japanese woodblock tradition doesn't actually go all that far back. You know, the earliest normal picture woodblock prints are the late 1600s. The Europeans are way, 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 way earlier. Chinese, Europeans, Koreans, they all had woodblock printing long before Japan really got into it. So Japan was in no way a pioneer in this field at all. Japan was very late to the party. The earliest ones they have here are reverse woodblocks. They're little stamp things, pieces of wood carved with a Buddhist iconography, and they stamped them onto the paper from the top. Not put the block on the table and put the paper on it like we do now. They stamped in. Those are the earliest ones. And then book publishing and stuff started using woodblocks in the late 1600s. And I don't have any of those. Those are way, way too expensive. When they come up on auctions, that's antique stuff, you know. I mean, you know, museum antique stuff. Then there was an explosion in the 1700s, and that's when, you know, there's tons of stuff on the market. But no, Japan is not all that old at all. I think the Chinese are very sort of proud of that. We, quote, invented this, you know, whatever. Is that the Oshibori truck? I didn't see him come in. But here at Mokuhankan, we've got lots of stuff from the late 1700s. As I said, I think the earliest one I might own might be 1770 or so. I don't know. When you own something like that, the word owning is sort of a funny word, you know. The book and prints that are here, say from the 1700s, you know, I can say this is mine, I own it. But it's really just custodianship, you know. It's like property or a house, you know. When you own property, the idea that I own it, this is mine. The earth is just laughing at you, whatever, the ground is there, the thing is there, and that you temporarily are the person who is holding on to this thing. And the idea that you own it and it's yours and stuff, it's just such a silly idea, you know. So those books and prints in our collection here, I'm the custodian, of course, you know. And it's a responsibility. The idea is that I'm supposed to take care of this and make sure as much as possible that it's going to be around for some next person to take care of, you know. I have no sense that this stuff is mine, all mine. And especially the land and the house, the place where I live, you know, nobody else is allowed to come into it right now because it's, quote, my house and my land. But it's a meaningless concept, you know. 2021 check. Is your fridge still running? You mean the fridge that we talked about in the it's not garbage video? It actually is. It's interesting. When I made that video, I didn't have any deep philosophical thought in mind. I was just grabbing at examples, and one example I grabbed was the refrigerator in our house. And at this point now, I don't even remember the numbers. It is actually still there and still running. And we've had this conversation quite a number of times, what I should do with it. It's a very old type of fridge, so it's presumably not very energy efficient at all. And especially considering I don't live there. So it just runs and runs and runs, keeping a few things cool. The ladies in the bottom house during the summer, they do put stuff in there. They put their lunch in there when they arrive, and then they come up to take it out of the fridge when they have lunchtime, And we do use the freezer sometimes for the paper. Tsushima-san printing there during the summer, she will put her paper in the freezer. But it's actually really not used very much. It's a large family-size fridge, and it's only getting fractional use. So I should probably, in one way of thinking, I should put a bullet in it, just turn it away, and send it out for chopping up and recycling, whatever you do with old fridges. But I haven't, and it's still sitting there humming away, eating electricity night and day, night and day. So I'm not sure what to do about that. Am I being an evil citizen by keeping that thing running? I don't know. They do need a fridge, so if I toss that, we have to get something to replace it. But yes, anyway, to answer your question, it is still running, still chugging away. It will probably be the irony of my life. That thing will outlive me, probably. Probably. Yes, so it is. There's a bit of a meme aspect to that thing now, So someone's mentioned, as long as it's not being opened, and that's true, it's rarely opened. The thing is, though, when did we buy that? I forget. We bought that in, my wife left in 91. So yeah, it must be 1990 or 1991. Somewhere around there, 1990 or 1991. Just as our family was breaking up, we got a new fridge. It was just perfectly worse timing, but whatever, anyway. So yeah, so it's now 31 or 32 years old. And the insulation in it must be pretty poor quality, whatever they were building as normal, 32 years old. So it doesn't get opened, but the insulation is probably not very good. Dave's fridge, nay. The stories that outlive you, And speaking about fridge, there is, of course, the other fridge. This gentleman sitting behind me here, this came from my mother some years ago now, I guess. This was supposed to be, this was one of the stream mascots, or the stream mascot, and it got labeled as fridge, I guess, by the stream or by my mother, whatever. So this also is the gentleman known as fridge. So whatever. Keep the coils in the back cleaned off. There are no coils. There's no visible coils. It was an ultra-modern fridge for its time, and it's sleek and smooth, and the back is a flat panel. It's bumped up a bit, so there must be coils inside. And maybe there's an air intake at the bottom that goes up. I don't know how it works. But there is nothing to do. The idea was it didn't need coil cleaning and stuff like that. So there is, as far as I know, no real maintenance to do. I see somebody's talking about the cutting method here. I'm cutting everything at an angle. When I cut this line here a few minutes ago, I cut like this, and that blade is at quite an angle. It's not straight up and down in the wood. If I point towards the camera, for example, can we do that? If I point towards the camera, I'll fake this. That line I cut, the knife went in just about like this, rather than going in straight up. So if I do it both sides, the cut lines have a basic mountain shape, thin at the top and widening out towards the bottom. So the lines are stable. The cut lines, for the most part, are stable, even when they're thin. Why is Dave not wearing a party hat? So. It is again birthdays. Thank you again. This is going to go on all day, I guess. Thank you very much. The Beatles quote there, the show. Wheat stalker, thank you. A Beatles fan, can I? Oh, we broke it. Look at that. She's gone. What did I do? The tip is gone. I sliced this, went back in, and did I angle it? The tip is gone. Look at that. Ooh. So she goes. I don't think I did anything specifically wrong there. Just that's life. Let's cut this off a second. That's life. No, I can't see it. But it's gone. Do you see it? Nanda. We know what to do. Did I get excited? I don't think I did. I don't think I said anything. Sometimes if I don't pay attention, I'm looking away, it breaks, but I think I was being quite careful there. Anyway, we know what to do. Here we go. It's not a massive break, maybe a third of a millimeter or something. So, blame it on the birthday wishes. So. Strong side. Medium side. You saw the video with Ito-san, he keeps his stone, of course, he's using natural stones, they're in water, and they are right at his right-hand side. So anytime he needs to sharpen, whether it's from breaking the tip or just simply he needs a touch-up, he just turns his body to the side, as you saw in that video. Bang, 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 and turns back. And it's literally a minute's work. If you're not talking and fooling around, you break it or you need to sharpen, and there it is, bang, we're back to normal. So it really is no big deal at all, It's literally just seconds of interruption. And also, if I was a real production carver, worried about go, how much have I got to get done before lunch, whatever, you would keep 2 or 3 knives on hand, sharpen them up before you start, and then as one, if it chipped a bit, or if you wanted to sharpen it, you just use number 1, use number 2, use number 3, and that'll take you to lunchtime. Have your lunch, sharpen them up, and get going in the afternoon. If you really, really were worried about saving time, I'm not that kind of a massive super production, don't drop anything worker, There we are, we're back to normal. It literally just took seconds. So. But the knife again has been shortened now by another fraction of a millimeter. So that's the way the knife dies, bit by bit by bit. Its lifespan just gets shorter and shorter and shorter. At some point you pull it out and it just doesn't fit in the handle anymore. You've got to toss it out and start with a new one. This particular blade, the last few blades, I am really, really happy with them, In fact, the fact that we're struggling with our knife project here, there's sort of a good news, bad news aspect is we bought some dozens and dozens of blades from that knife guy, Konobu-san. They're sitting here upstairs now. And Chon-san, the carver, and I, we're looking at that pile of knife blades, and he is now retired and is not going to make any more. And he and I are looking at that pile and looking at each other and thinking, how old are you? How old am I? Where am I going to get knife blades in the future? And we are thinking selfishly that that pile of knife blades upstairs, which at the moment is kind of irreplaceable, might actually represent our own personal stock for the rest of our lives. I don't know. No idea what to do. At the moment, we're just so busy with our normal work that we're just not paying any attention to that at all. So the knife project at the moment is just simply just sleeping, just whatever. We'll try and sort it out. Maybe in January, February, when the online shopping has just settled down, we will have time to look at other projects. Once the online shopping is quiet and the new subscription series is up and running safely, then we have time to think about other projects. And at that point, we'll look around, gather what information we can, and make some more decisions. Yo-sho, yo-sho, yo-sho. John's talking there, there's rumblings about opening up to tourism. Well, I have no other special knowledge. I mean, last Monday, effective last Monday, a few days ago, they did, quote, open up, unquote, for certain categories of serious business travelers and for the, what do they call them, the interns that come in to work here. They are now theoretically now open again. But the qualifications, the requirements for getting in and for what you're doing are stunningly complicated, and probably almost nobody is actually going to be able to get into the country. So they've sort of, I can see what's happened. The foreign ministry here has been under lots of pressure from outside, from other foreign ministries in other countries to let's do reciprocal stuff. You open up, we'll open up, blah, blah, blah. So they have been under this kind of pressure, and they have, in a sense, they have theoretically opened up now for these business travelers. But the hoops that the people have to jump through are stunningly complex. There's a 4-page PDF in Japanese on the Foreign Ministry's website about what these people have to do. And I was looking at it yesterday with Aoyama-san, and we laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. They're like, isn't anybody who's actually going to be able to do this? It was incredible. It's the test before you fly, the test at the airport when you get here. It's got to be okay. You've got to be escorted everywhere you go. If you go on any kind of train at all, you can't sit on a non-reserved seat. You can only travel when there is a special reserved seating for you. The company has to buy the seat next to you to make sure nobody's sitting there. The list of requirements just went on and on and on. You've got to be tracked. The company who is sponsoring you is responsible for you if you infect anybody else. It's just a bizarre list of requirements. And like I said, I can't imagine is anybody going to be able to do this? And all I can guess is that it's stuff like Toyota and Apple and stuff, people like this who want their executives to be able to come back and forth. And maybe this is going to allow those people to do that. I don't know. Executives who've got the private car, there's no transportation problems, all this kind of stuff, So I don't know. So the idea that we're going to be open for tourists, I have no inside track on this, but the way reading the tea leaves, I don't see any chance of that in any foreseeable future. Japan very much sees itself as being, we've sort of got this thing figured out. We had a bit of trouble this summer the infections went up and up and up and up. But we pulled together, and because of our masking, etc., we killed that. And they see other countries walking around with no masks, and those people coming into Japan and not wearing masks. And Japan, collective Japan, is saying to itself, we do not want those foreigners here who are going to walk around town with no masks, you know. So we'll see. I could completely be wrong, but it's my daughter again. Did she not get the mail? Fumi-chan, I sent you a mail. Let me try messaging her on Skype. She uses Skype on a phone, so she may not see messages. I can actually guess what's perhaps happening. They might be having the birthday party for little Archie, and she wants me to, you know, say hi to Archie and blow the candles out on the cake or something like this. They're probably waiting for me for that. So I don't know. She knows the schedule. Because your email's going back and forth. I think she got the day wrong. Okay, sorry for the interruption. Thanks. I'll catch her later. It's no problem at all. The little music clip you just heard too. Those of you who have seen streams and stuff for a long time know that all my email used to be sort of, I had music clips set to play when certain emails came in. We used to do it with orders and stuff like that. That stopped a long time ago when I was no longer the person processing the orders on a daily basis. It was happening for Cameron, but he really asked me, look, let's not do this, because it was just, of course, obnoxious to him. So I took out that part. But in my personal email now, I still do have a few of those music alerts playing. And the one that you just heard just now was simply alerting me that there was an email from one of my daughters, which there was, whom he did email me asking, what's going on? You're not supposed to be streaming today. I don't know if anybody recognized the clip, but that clip is that. It's when Dave gets an email from one of his daughters. It lets me know so that I can run to the email and answer straight away. It's a big deal for me to get an email from one of those guys. Although having said that, I really can't complain at all. My younger daughter has been really, really, really spectacularly wonderful in keeping me in touch with the grandchildren. She has some kind of Google photo account. I don't actually know what it is, but she's got a Google thing where she puts photographs up, and she uploads to there every couple of days, and either it lets me know or she lets me know that there's new pictures there. And it's been fantastic. I've had weekly updates on what the kids are doing and what they look like. I don't know if those pictures are going to last forever on there, but it's not my problem. It's her problem. But for me, the fact that she's keeping me in touch is just so cool. I've watched my grandson Archie. It's his birthday this week. I've watched him go up from 0 to 1 year. Updates every week, and it's really been cool. Video, photos. So thanks to the internet. How's our time? We're still got a ways for show and tell. We do have show and tell today. We've got something that should be really quite nice, actually. The last couple of things I've pulled for you on show and tell turned out to be kind of, not so interesting for us, or not so interesting for me, and maybe it was my fault because I didn't really like those objects. I didn't get enthusiastic, and whatever, it becomes not interesting. So I should be careful. It's all very well when I am enthusiastic about something and it's contagious, but I have a responsibility here to try and make these things interesting. So either I should leave off things that I'm not interested in, or I should try and be more maybe I should try and be more interested in them. I don't know. The one we have today, it's not like that at all. The one we have today, I like this. It's fun. It's interesting. It's beautiful. So we should have a normal show and tell today. Sorry about that. I guess I have a responsibility to this. And the last couple of show and tells, I have failed. So I'm sorry. It is part of the mandate, though. It's not just, I'm trying to show the different kinds of stuff that was done with woodblock. So it's not just it's not a David's choice, this show and tell. It's a survey of the field kind of a show and tell, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, today, okay, what I should do is actually, if you want to peek up, you can probably find some web information about this. Let me pop up. I'll put a Japanese phrase in here. This is the title. We're going to look at a book today. And this is the title of the book. So if you want to do some looking in the background and blah, 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 this is the title of the book. And the first two kanji are shiki. The last two kanji are monyo, pattern. And the middle two kanji, the first one is flower, and the second one, I don't know the kanji. So it's seasonal flower something patterns, but I don't know the fourth kanji in that group there. So actually, if maybe somebody could hunt that up and give us a kanji lesson by the time show and tell comes. I don't know how to pronounce or the meaning of the fourth kanji there. Only that obviously the book is going to be seasonal flower something patterns, so we know what it's going to be about. but I don't know the nuance of that character. So there's your homework. If somebody can do my homework for me, please. So. Oh, we could 9:03. Lots of time yet. 10 more minutes. Good. I'll be able to finish this corner. No problem. No problem. No problem. What's the kanji? Kaki. Kaki. It's a new kanji for me. Ornamental plant or flowering plant. Thank you. I'll try and remember that. It's a strange kanji I've never seen before. I don't know, it's probably not in the what do they call it, the Joyo kanji, the group of approved characters for use in classrooms and newspapers. There's that group of characters. It's called I believe the Joyo kanji. There may be another name for it, I don't know. And it's the Ministry of Education has put out this list. And these are the characters that are currently approved for use in common life, as in like newspapers, magazines, and school textbooks and stuff. And it's the group that is taught to everybody who goes through the school system, the K-12 school system. There are many, many more characters behind that, but that group is the one that is assumed to be your basic literacy group. And it has changed over the years, and it has shrunk over the years very much. And the character we see there, I'm not anyway an expert on this, but don't think I know it, so not like I know all of them in the Joyo kanji group, but whatever. I think there's 1,820 of them, 1,860 of them. Somebody can clear us up on that. It's way fewer than what they're using in China. They've got also a number of systems in China that are simplified, but the Japanese system they've simplified way more. Oh no, the Koreans have simplified more. They got rid of them, but Okay, the tree is done up here. The tree is done there. Clear a little bit of this. We are buzzing, we're really buzzing along with this thing now. I had been chatting with Watanabe-san yesterday about the schedule, and I was thinking with this thing that I'm really quite ahead of schedule, but I am not. I'm actually now a little bit under the gun on this. The ladies upstairs, as we speak, are doing the 12th print in this year's subscription series, and Ishikawa-san, I think, has already finished her batch. So she's going to move on and do some other jobs. Of course, they're not doing just subscription prints. She's doing other jobs, but then she is waiting then for subscription print number 1, because after 12 comes 1. And that means this thing. And this thing has 10 pictures and color blocks. So I am now actually under the gun. Time for more great waves. Shiharu-san, what is she doing this week? She started a new job today. No, Tuesday she started a new job. That'll take this week. She may be starting waves next Wednesday. There's really only going to be one more batch of waves this year. That's all. There will be one more batch of waves, and it'll be finished in the mid-December or so. Whether they'll get out of here during the year, I don't know. There will be probably one more batch of waves this year. I don't know. I shouldn't promise that. So. Oh, Joyo Kanji is more than 2,000. They keep adding. In my era, when I was reading about this, they were cutting down on this. So if they've started to add them back, I don't know. I'm not the authority here. Absolutely. Did you see? The British Museum has the Hokusai video up and running to show. And it's really nice. I've been, of course I'm interested in this. So I watched the British Museum video. I thought it was really going to be fun and interesting. And it turned out to be less so because they don't really address the comments that I would like to talk about, which is understandable. Stop it, please. YouTube, autoplay, give me a break. But there was one comment the other day on that YouTube video that's on the British Museum. Can I put the comment in without starting a fight? I think so. It's okay. Oh, it's gone. They must have taken it down. Okay, whatever. I'll leave it off. It's gone. It's okay. Cancel comment. So. It was a comment about cultural appropriation. The fact that the British Museum has 3 copies of The Great Wave. And the British Museum, I guess, as an institution, and many other art places around the world, or museums around the world, do have this question that's been coming up in recent years quite strongly, a very serious question. The stuff that they are holding in their museums, is it really theirs? Should it be returned to the country of origin and stuff like this? And it's very much clearly a gray zone. And it all depends on your point of view, and there are lots of things to talk about and understand. And there's no clear answer for all of it. There are obviously some items in Western museums that were, in some cases, that were looted from their original places. There are some items in museums that were saved, that were being destroyed or in danger of being lost in their original locations. And the Western collectors saved them from being destroyed. There's a very wide spectrum, and there's no single answer for all of these things. It's really case by case, institution by institution, country by country to look at these things. But in the case of this British Museum video about the Great Wave, somebody who perhaps doesn't really understand the background here had made the comment that these Great Wave prints were looted from their country of origin and should be returned to their country of origin. And when I read that, my first thing was I just could not stop laughing, of course. I just couldn't stop laughing. The idea that the great waves had been looted from Japan, I had never, in 1,000 years, I would never have thought anybody would ever think of such a thing, you know. But once I stopped laughing, then I realized, okay, what we need here is some education. This person has heard about the looting, or the Elgin marbles, or whatever example you might choose to hold by yourself, I don't know. And they've equated this great wave with that kind of a thing. Imperialistic powers coming in to a very weak country that is in chaos, and looting all the stuff and taking it back home, you know. And the idea that that applies to the great wave is just whatever. It's face palming, you know. Packages! Yay! Yay! Ippai, ippai, ippai. Domo. Thank you. Yeah, yokatta. Thank you. What have we got here? I recognize the boxes. We have a package, I think, from Chiharu-san, and this must be the cat and the fishbowl print. We're reprinting those. Next box is from Kubota-san. That must be, I don't remember what he's doing right now. We're reprinting this year's prints, one by one by one by one by one, out by Chiharu-san and Yamamoto-san and Kubota-san. We're getting ready. On November 20th, we are opening up again subscriptions for this year's print set. And the printers are working through about 120 copies of each to get them ready for that. Then there's something else from Amazon. I don't know what that is. Anyway, goods. Thank you. Oh, it's show and tell time anyway. Okay. Show and tell time. Okay. So all those old prints being used as packaging and being stolen by Europe. I mean, it just, whatever. We don't want to talk about it. Okay, a couple of things. Okay, we have a nice show and tell, but before we do, there is a package in from somebody. I think we can show names here. I don't think this is anything that's going to be secret. It's almost certainly it's a woodblock print that's being sent to us. And somebody's name is, whatever, it's from Spain. I think we can do this in public. There's going to be nothing super secret in here, I think. It's from somebody in Spain who is almost certainly has sent a woodblock print that he's made. So let's have a look at this. Whether it's worthy of being shown, whatever, take your chances, you know. Pay your money and take your chances. I will not gratuitously insult prints online. You're safe. Oh, here we go, letters. Yes, it's a thank you letter. Okay, so we're safe with this. Okay, we don't need to read the entire letter on screen here because I don't know the content. But clearly, it's today for the Mokuhankan people. I've been learning about prints years ago. I'm fascinated. And obviously, clearly, this person has made a print. Yeah, okay. This person has been interested in it, struck by lightning. I wanted to show struggle behind this, happy graduation. Okay, so it's a print. Again, I don't want to read the entire personal letter. But it's clear what's happened here. Somebody has made a print. Let's have a look at the print. We can read the letter later. Prints, good prints, bad prints, mediocre prints, first prints, later prints, I don't care. Prints are fun. Oh, here we go, bingo, it is prints. Let's have a look. So what do we have here? What do we have? Maybe I should have read the letter. Let's have a look. The person's name. Where's the name? I threw away the package. Is the name here? There's no name on the letter, and I threw the package where I can't reach it anymore. Okay, we have a May sheet. Okay, we have a website. Okay, here we are. The person is no-mad, and we have a website. Or Instagram. So I think what we've got here is somebody who's working as an illustrator, and he's discovered woodblock printmaking through our channel and has decided to try it. And here we go. We have a couple of woodblock prints. Reproduction type woodblock prints, are they? Okay, if you're watching, I don't know who you are name-wise, Nomad. If you're watching, I know a couple of things. I know whatever, you could certainly carve a bit deeper. I know unless this is the effect you want, it's hard to tell. But certainly it would be kind of cool if you carved a bit deeper and got rid of some of the mess here. You perhaps already know that. And it would really, really, really help if you could find some Japanese washi. They look nice, they look clean, they look clear, but there is no beauty in them because it's missing the effect of the paper. This is a Western paper. You've pressed it onto your block and made the impression so we can see the picture, but it's missing all the woodblocky beauty, which you would get if you had Japanese paper. So please, for your next experiments, for your next try on this, get some Japanese paper. It will make 1,000 times difference. So much more difference. It looks cool though, the carving. It's a bit tasty. There's a few clicks and pops here. A nice start. A nice start. And this must be your normal work, what you're doing in your normal life before doing woodblock. Okay, thank you, sir. I will read the letter carefully later and reply to you. Is the person who made them here? Have we got that in the chat here? Is that person here? Seems no comment. Whatever. It's a nice early trials. No problem. Do it once, do it twice, do it again. Keep going. But absolutely, Japanese paper. Without it, there's sort of. This is a bit of my prejudice, but. There is lots of woodblock printmaking in the world that doesn't use Japanese paper. I mean, there are people on the street making woodblock prints in the West. It's a thing. For us, most of the beauty, a huge amount of the beauty for us comes from the paper and the pigment thing blending together. It's not about the picture, the image. So it's quite possible this person is he's happy with the image and that's all he wants. For someone like Dave, it's not just the image, it's the overall effect and the mood of the whole thing together. So when I see it on not Japanese paper, I'm instantly disappointed by that aspect of it. So Dave's prejudice says, get some Japanese paper, try it again, let's go and make some quote real prints. No green tape. Where is the green tape in Japan? Hey, 2 baskets. Japanese paper is expensive. I get it. I talked about that in my little ebook that I did about this. And of course, use that kind of paper for your testing and rubbing, and does it look okay? Use that kind of paper. You don't want to do your very first impression on a Japanese paper. Test it and try it and test it and try it. But get a few sheets of Japanese paper and put 1 or 2 in there. It's exhausting getting into this blocks. 3 baskets. This is a nice book. This is nice. You've already seen it. I teased it, so I showed you what this thing is. This book was published by Uchida. I've heard about it before. I've seen illustrations of it. I've never owned one. And it came up on Yahoo Auction last week or so, and it was a tiny bit more expensive than I would have liked to pay. Here's the auction page from last week. And I would have really been happier if it had been less. But as I said, I've never seen one before. I've known about this book. It's a pair. It's a pair of books. It's the usual Japanese thing when they have up, down. This is Hanakaki, I've been told. Hanakaki Monyo. Flower, seasonal, 4 seasons, flower patterns. And this is the summer grass maki. Okay, the maki is the volume, and this is up and down, means volume 2. So this is part 2 of the, well, literally summer grasses volume. Summer grasses, I think they just mean simply flowers, flowers that will flower in summer. And it's a 2-part book, and I've heard about it for a long time, never had a copy. And this one seems to be in good condition. It does indeed seem to be in good condition. Let's jump to the back page first because I want to know when this was made. Here we are. John Becker, standing by. It's not Meiji, John. You'll need your Showa list. Are you standing by, sir? Give me a date here. This is Showa 25. Oh, I know that. No, Showa 15. I'm sorry, Showa 15. I can figure that out. I'm Showa 26, which was 1951. So this is Showa 15, which is 11 years earlier. So this is 1940. We got it. Standing by. 1940. Japan was kind of busy with other stuff in 1940. They were already at war with China and had been for a number of years. They were involved in a whole bunch of escapades, and they were about to start a new escapade. So what are they doing? Publishing art books. You tell me. I guess there was still a bunch of normal culture happening in the background in 1940. It all started to go wrong in 40 and 41 and 42. But at this point, there must have been some semblance of normal life still going on. And what we have one of these accordion books. It's a book of glued together pages, and it's a book for designers. Which way does it go? It goes this way. And Uchida published a whole bunch of these. We've seen a couple on these show and tells before. It's a pattern book, a design book. And exactly who bought these things is not clear. This is nothing to do with, woodblock printmakers wouldn't buy these books. Woodblock printmakers made them. Even the end papers here you're seeing are a woodblock print. But who they were aimed at, I really don't know. Collectors or design studios. A design studio would maybe have a bunch of design books on the wall. Design studio mean anything, a web design company or a company doing lacquerware or whatever. You would have shelves full of these little design books, and they are inspiration. So textiles too, people doing kimono fabric design and stuff like that. Anybody who would have had anything to do with design. And Uchida, the company who published many of these, this is published by the Uchida company, they published dozens of these during the teens, the 20s, and the 30s. And they're all done in woodblock print. Everything you see is carved and printed. This is Kyoto printing. This is not ukiyo-e in any sense whatsoever. This is simply cut and printed on woodblock. But ukiyo-e is not the theme here. The pigments are opaque. Lots of use of metallics. This one is actually shiny. It looks gray to you. Let's try and catch the light. Can you see it? It's aluminum powder. And behind it is bronze powder, which has... what's the word when you react with oxidized? It's oxidized to a dull color. This would have been silver, and the iris pattern would have looked as a shiny gold color, gold bronze color. And it's just play. It's playing with patterns. Who's the designer on this one? Just a minute. Who's the designer? I should have looked at that at the beginning. This might be some super famous designer. Let's have a look. Oh no, it's not a single person. It's a group. It's a kai. Oh, this is raku. I don't know this one. Rakushi. Let's take a flyer. The Rakushi Kai, and I don't really know what they're trying to get at for a meaning. So that would be the group. It'll be a group of people who have commissioned this or who have been asked to be the designers. So let's flip through. Let's get rid of the outside, or get the outside down a bit. Let's make Dave smaller. And let's flip through and get the idea of 1940s design sense. I don't think a poetry group, nothing to do with poems. This is simply a book of designs. It'll be an artist group or an illustrators group. Woo! And everything here will be something to do with flowers. Look at the shine. Let's try and get an angle on this. Lacquer. And I think they have used actual lacquer here. On the flowers here, it looks to me to be sticky and hard. It is. It's sticky and hard and doesn't want to flex. They may have actually used lacquer. This is aluminum powder. And as you move it around, it changes. It's bling, decorative bling. Japan, Japan, Japan. I guess this seems to be the pattern. Let's go back one page. It seems to be black and white lines on the right-hand side and color patterns on the other side. Yeah, that's the pattern we're going to be. Maybe, and I'm just going to guess here, and then no one will ever know, it could be that by 1940 here, economics was what it was, and that they were no longer able to afford to do the whole book as full color. It's quite possible that it was planned to be a color book, but money didn't allow the whole thing to be done in full color. Whoa, look at the gradations here. Let's zoom in a bit. You can see now the white. This is your paper. This is the paper color. It's a Hosho paper that has toned now. What is it? 1940, so it's 80 years old. And the white you're seeing here is not paper. This is white pigment placed, of course, on top of the paper. And same thing here. This white is printed white. In fact, that's the same piece of paper. My finger is just running across with no break. That's your blank paper, and this is printed in white. Someone's asking, does each leaf have 3/4? I'm not sure what you're asking here. There's stuff here. Again, this is metallics that have oxidized. The part my finger is touching, it's a bronze powder, which would have been much, much shinier. And is that supposed to be snow? It wouldn't make any sense, would it? This is supposed to be a book about summer flowers. I don't know. I think kimono designers to show, most useful for textile people, I think. Well, the cover says summer flowers. The cover doesn't say spring. The cover clearly said summer. And we said it was the summer volume. It said summer grass volume. Again, this is all metal. What you're seeing as the sort of vaguely orangey color here is bronze powder. This would have all been completely gold, shiny stuff. As you see the silver here, the white here, this would have been gold. This is Morning Glory to show that's late summer, right? I don't know. I'm just, I'm just the caretaker here. I didn't design this. The book's title is absolutely clear. It says it is the Summer Grass Volume, Part 2. Everything you see is carved and printed. And Uchida, apparently, they still have most of their blocks. They're famous for this. They have a massive, massive storeroom. Both those companies, Unsodo and Uchida, have a massive storeroom with blocks. Unsodo is still more in business. Uchida, I don't know if they're actually still in business or not. They really decayed. In the post-war period, this company ended up, they did lots of stuff for the tourist market. And my God, some of the worst, awful, most god-awful, embarrassing things in our collection come from this same company, the Uchida company. They really, really, really went downhill post-war. And they might still be in business. For all I know, they've got a website. I wouldn't even want to think about what they're selling there. This is a nice group. Look at this. These are done like a kimono mon show. How much did the book sell for? We have a price. It's marked on the back copy there. It says, and it's a bit unclear, it says zen, which means onokan. What's the meaning there? It says 8 yen in the old money. But whether that's the price for both volumes altogether or just one volume, I don't know. It was a 2-part book, part 1, part 2. This one says 8 yen. So you tell me 8 yen in 1940s Japanese money, what does that reflect now? I do not know. Yeah, the price of a noodle bowl, please, enough of that already. Let's put that one to bed forever and ever and ever. I'm ignoring the left side, but the left side is probably actually quite spectacular too. I'm sorry, just There's really, I still don't myself have a clear idea in my mind. Art Nouveau or Art Deco, what's the difference between the two? So Dave here, in his lack of knowledge on these things, to me it looks like that kind of stuff. Art Nouveau, is that it? Or I don't know the difference, So in that sense, you could think there's very much an international influence happening here. In the decades before this, Japanese prints had hugely influenced the West, and I think this is very much a reflection of an influence coming back the other way. Western design here is, I think, influencing Japanese design. They're fun, In the past, when we were making lots of individual single sheet prints here, I took ideas from some of these Uchida books, and I stole patterns from these books to make some of the woodblock prints in my Hanga treasure chest, the original Hanga Tamatibako. I stole a number of designs from one of these books. And that's not evil. That's what they're for, actually. That's what they're for. Whoa, look at this. These are beautiful, Hontoni, these are beautiful. Wow. The carver must have had so much fun cutting these, you know. I could happily spend my time on this, cutting these. Look at these. And the difference in thickness and thinness. Look at this. Some of it has thin line cutting. He widens it up to some part. It's sort of the reflections in the water are different. This is all ripply water with thins and thicks. Someone's talking about Rimpa stuff, maybe. The influence from Korin. Koringami would say that, wouldn't he? Let's just go through this. We haven't got, what is it, three more pages. We're okay, let's just go through. I don't know what time it is, but who cares? And irises, again and again we come back to the irises. And that's maybe part of the Korean influence. No, what he said, someone's asking, what makes it fun for the carver? Fun for this kind of carver, Dave, who is not a craftsman, who thinks about having fun and enjoying this. Just the lines are so curvy and so pleasant. And that last one, some of them were thick, some of them were thin, so you had to really try and catch this. A real craftsman like Ito-san, he wouldn't have had fun. He just would have just whatever, here's today's work, here's cut it. And this is one of the things that makes me not be a craftsman, in that I will have, I will have fun with some of this, and you're not supposed to do that. It's just a job. Look at this collection of motifs. Look at this. This is one picture, but it contains. There's your bamboo thing in the garden. Yatsuhashi in the garden. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's absolutely a collection here of 8 specific motifs. This is the kind of book, actually, there's not a word in it, but you could actually sit here and read this thing for hours at a time. Anybody who's even slightly interested in design and or printmaking. Just see it again in the background here. What looks dark under one angle is bright under another angle. Look at that. Hopefully, from my taste, there's a bit too much bling, but this was a thing clearly in this era. Oh, that's it. That's the last one. Where we go. A bit too much bling for my taste, but clearly fun and beautiful. Drop dead beautiful. Okay, I think that might make up for the disaster that we had in the last couple of show and tells. They really were not interesting books. Sorry about that. Things are what they are. What did we pay for this? I think I paid 10,000 yen for it, so I paid about $90 for this, and I'm happy with that. That's bargain or whatever, I don't know, but this is well worth the $90 I paid for this. So okay, there we go. Let's pop up the outside camera. Today's Thursday. I'll be back here, as far as I can tell, 2 more days from now on Saturday. I will be doing more carving, of course, on the same block. And I've got Jed's versions are now through. I'll be pasting those down soon as well. That might happen on Saturday, might happen on Monday, who knows. Outside, did you see the change since the last couple of streams? Do you see the green cones there? The temporary shop for selling vaping equipment has gone. It's now gone. So this means perhaps construction of the new building is going to start on that corner sometime soon. I don't know. We'll see. Just have to wait and see what happens. Okay, all the birthday thanks. Thanks very much. I really do feel a lot older right now, 70 years old. I don't know. I have very mixed feelings about this, but things are what they are. Things are what they are. Well, Mom is here too. My mother's here, is she? She says, "Happy birthday, David." Okay, so the birthday like this for my mother, let's look this down. there's a funny feeling. My mother's here and she said happy birthday, but can you imagine being a mother and your kid has just become 70 years old? This year very much mixed feelings, you know, very much mixed feelings. My kids are still kids, so I don't have any such feeling about that. But if I had my daughter saying, Dad, I'm now 70, my God, I would feel the clutch of fear at my body, you know. So anyway, thanks, Mom. I'll give you a call on Skype later on. Thanks very much. Anyway, it really is time to go. I have gone overseas here and I have lots to do. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the good wishes. I'm now signing off. Bye for now.